Kanpur, and I'm very excited. Today we have got a very special guest with us, Jyotsna, and I'm very excited to share that Jyotsna has made it to IIM Ahmedabad. And in her first attempt, what makes it more exciting is the first attempt. So, how are you feeling, Jyotsna, right now?
I'm really exhilarated with the feeling that making to IIM Ahmedabad in my first attempt was actually a dream come true. It sounded impossible and seemed impossible till the very last day till I received the offer. And I still remember the moment when I saw the offer and that congratulations written on the letter. It seemed like a dream. I had to pinch myself twice to make sure that yes, I got the offer from IIM Ahmedabad.
Oh, that's great. So, Jyotsna, tell me something more about you. Like, what is your background, from where you come from, and when did you decide, like I want to do MBA?
Right. So, my name is Jyotsna Khakholiya, and I am currently a third-year student of Bachelor's in Business Administration from PPN College, Kanpur. And doing MBA and giving CAT exam was never a plan since after 12th. It was in my third year that I decided that yes, I'll get into CAT. And I joined IMS Kanpur for my coaching and CAT preparation in December 2022 and gave the final paper in November 2023. So my family, no one in my family actually belongs from a MBA background or gave CAT, and everyone had that mindset that CAT is real difficult because it is difficult to an extent, and that is the perception people generally have. So when I made it to IIM Ahmedabad, my family also was so much happy. All my relatives, everyone made sure that yes, it is possible for other students as well to make it.
So guys, I'm all CAT 24 aspirants and CAT 25 aspirants. You know that I think Jyotsna, she is the one who has cracked it and telling you that CAT is not as difficult as it is perceived to be.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So like, what was your observation? Like when I'm sure before when you were giving CAT, right? So what was going through your mind, like on the CAT day or before CAT? Did you really feel that yes, you will make it to IMA?
Definitely not. No one feels that because the moment you even give the CAT, after CAT, I wasn't sure even if I was going to be a 99 plus percentiler. It was just when the answer key came out, I was made sure and made believe that yes, I am scoring a well good marks to make into a good
Jyotsna,
score.
I remember like when you came out on the CAT
Right.
paper, like she was quite anxious. मेरा तो
Right.
paper गड़बड़ हो गया, right?
Definitely. I said that to sir कि DILR नहीं अच्छा गया है. Maybe I'm not even clearing the cutoff. But finally, some things turned out well on my side, and I made it to it. And till the CAT day, till the very moment I had the morning slot, it was 8 o'clock. I left my home at 4:30. I remember it very well. Getting up even earlier. So it's real important to take a full night's sleep, and I did not compromise on that. I actually slept well and avoided mocks in the last week. So I was also anxious कि भाई mocks नहीं दिए इतने टाइम से, maybe अब finally CAT देने जा रहे हैं तो कैसे होगा, because इतने दिन से नहीं दिए क्या होगा. But in the moment, because I already gave so many mocks, I was also assured that कि I will finish the paper within 2 hours and make sure कि हाँ भाई जितना मैं कर रही हूँ that is sufficient. I made sure कि the number of questions I was attempting in BRC, the number of questions I was attempting in DILR, although I fell short of.
So I'll just stop you. We will go back a little more and we'll discuss from the beginning. Like when you started CAT preparation, right? I think you joined in 2022. That is the time. So you gave 1 year, right? So how did you plan? Like, what was the process and how did you go about it so that our CAT 24 aspirants can also understand and get some cues? So can you share in detail, like how did you start?
Sure. The very important thing was that I never took my sessions or whatever I was studying lightly. I'm not saying to take pressure and do 8-hour studies or something. I made sure I was doing 2 hours study, but solid study. Also, I was very regular with my studies. I was doing whatever was actually guided by my teachers and the suggestions I was given in my preparation. One very important thing was I did not miss a single mock. That is a very major thing. Even
Okay.
after
So 2 hours. I mean, it's unbelievable for me. Like you're saying, 2 hours of study, but serious study. I mean, a lot of students come and tell me that for CAT you have to study for 8 hours, 10 hours. So how did you like 2 hours? It seems unbelievable to
it
me.
definitely seems unbelievable, but there are two things, like either going through time based or target based. I
Okay.
mostly did target based study.
Okay, great. So I think, guys, this is a lesson for all of us, right? When you come to study, it doesn't matter how much time you devote. It's more important number of questions that you solve. So let's go one by one. Like in VARC, like what was your plan for the 1 year? Like what did you practice for? How many tests or how many questions did you solve? Or
Right.
per day was there any target specifically?
Yeah, I made sure doing 3 RCs in a day along with 10 to 15 VA questions from different segments as well. And also because VA was my weaker section, I made sure I was reading some editorials and some other essays from different websites so that I could cover various topics. And for the other sections as well, DILR also I had a set target of 3 sets in a day.
Okay.
Even if it took time, I made sure that I was doing them. I was somehow getting the solutions at the end of the day. For maths, since it was one of my strengths, I was doing 30 to 40 questions in a day, and those were the target.
Okay, that's great. I think I'm sure all of our aspirants will learn like doing 3 RCs per day, right? Work the trick. But since you said VRC was a weaker section, so I'm sure initially you must have faced a lot of difficulties. So what was going through when, let's take some time, you give an RC and a lot of questions are getting wrong. So what was going through your mind and how did you, cope up with this situation?
So I was also, since you taught me VRC, I was also told that we should experiment on VRC because it does not always apply on every student. One strategy does not always apply to a single student. So I had experimentation that I tried, I increased my number of attempts or increased my accuracy. So what worked for me was the increase in number of attempts and the speed. So I tried working on that and later after a few mocks I realized that this is the one working for me. So that is the one.
Okay, so if you don't mind, share me, like you have given so many marks. What was your lowest and the highest score in verbal?
Yeah, in verbal my lowest score was 8 marks and highest I have scored 40 plus as well.
Okay, great. And how many questions did you attempt in CAT paper, in actual paper, and what was like your accuracy, if you would like to share?
In my actual paper I attempted 19 to 20 questions and I scored 35 plus.
Oh, that's great.
So I had a minimum lower accuracy, but that was my strategy I'd worked upon.
So your strategy was to attempt more, so that even if you get some questions wrong, they will cover up because you have attempted more. Okay, guys. So I think if you are feeling, let's take jitteriness and VARC, I think Jyotsna has given the right strategy. I'm sure you will follow. Let's move to the next question for DILR because this is very, very unpredictable section, and I'm sure this is a section where every student fumbles a lot. So what was your plan, and till last day what did you do in DILR?
Right. So for DILR, as I told you, I made sure I was doing 2 to 3 sets, and also I was attempting decent in my CAT mocks. I was scoring 30 plus approximately. So I was a bit more actually confident, but at the end of the days I wasn't actually scoring well when I practiced them at home. When I was trying out some sets, I could not get them right actually, and final day was really a disaster for me in DILR because I was real upset. I attempted 1.5 sets, but thankfully I got them right somehow with one question wrong. So I finally got it right. But what works best in DILR is going through past year papers and analyzing the topics, that to which topic actually the set belongs to.
Okay.
So that works.
So it's very important to choose the right set of questions and possibly the kind of questions or sets that you've already solved. If you can pick them, I think 1.5 set can also do the job, right? So I think it's not necessarily the beauty of the CAT exam is, I believe, if you score even something around 25 to 30% marks, your cutoff will be clear.
Right,
so guys, that's a lesson for all of us. So CAT is not about attempting each and every question. It's be very, very selective, right? And what about quant? Like how many questions did you attempted in CAT, and what was your observation about this year quant? Because I hear this year quant was a little, difficult as compared to previous year papers. Yes.
That was the review when we got out of the center, but for me, I felt that it was okay because I attempted 13 questions and got 12 right.
Oh.
So it was really a great deal in quant for me. I was like, I'll cover up those in my entire paper. That was the most impactful section for me. But also in quant, although I was strong in the subject, but I made sure that I'm inclined towards practicing them. Because if you're stronger in a subject, you generally try to not do it as much as on the weaker section. But in CAT, we say that you should even practice your stronger subjects because those are the scoring ones. It does not. You just have to clear the sections in other, but whatever is the strength, you should actually score on them.
So I believe the recipe for success is like devoting equal time or maybe adequate time to each and every section. You can't ignore, even if you know that maths is good or maybe VRC are good, you can't ignore them. You have to continuously practice. Great. How did you find, like, I'm sure IMS, since you have joined IMS, so what kind of support you got from IMS and how did it help you? If you could elaborate, I think.
So because it was my first attempt, I joined in December 2022, gave a year to it. It was really helpful. What I feel, the mentors were really helpful in each subject for VRC, DILR, and quants. Also, they have this mentorship program which really helps in connecting with mentors and getting your personal doubts clear on the point. And the IMS strategy and their website portal is real helpful because they have this new feature called AI detection, AI questions, and which really helps to analyze the type of questions in the series. The mocks were also at par with CAT, which helped me throughout. I was scoring similar marks, and in CAT also I finally did.
Okay, that's great. I think everything finally came into the place. So when you first come to know that you got call from, I think you got call from all the IIMs, right?
Yes.
Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and so when you got all the calls, like what went through your mind? Because it was the half journey that you cleared out, right? So maybe the biggest, next step was to VAT and interviews. So what went through your mind?
That was the moment I felt like after the CAT result I was real happy, but the moment I started getting the calls, that was the moment I really felt that okay, this is just a scorecard, but the actual goal is still left to be pursued. And although it was really stressful, but obviously because I went for my GDPI classes to IMS and had the support of mentors and guided for the GDPI process, it went all easy, and at last it all felt in place.
So what else you did it for GDPI preparation? Like what are the things that you did in this particular, and just tell me, share some experiences of those interviews, like what kind of questions or what was the undergoing through your mind at that point of time?
Right. So for GDPI, since GDPI process is very different from CAT exam, so I had to work upon that because I don't read much, but I had to read through different topics and also on my academics. Being a fresher, it's really important to be aligned with the academic subjects, and also general knowledge and whatever is going around the world, the current affairs. It was really important to cope up with all that. Also for VAT, I had to back to writing essays again and again after giving so much time to CAT and analytical subjects. And for interviews, IIM Ahmedabad was my very first interview. I still remember I went nervous for the interview, and the interviewer asked me that you shall have water because you feel nervous and everything. So interviews do get messed up, but after giving one or two interviews, you realize that it is all it is. Like, you will be there, and that is just between you and the interviewer. And you never know what actually impresses them at that very point and what they find you in to take you in their college. And because I gave a few mocks before that with IMS, I realized that I had those questions repeated. And on my academics, I had a similar questions. And
so what were the general areas which were covered during the interview? Like, if you can bifurcate, then what were those areas where you found more questions?
Yeah, so mostly for me, the questions were around my specific domain, which I want to pursue after MBA, which was marketing. So in major interviews, all the questions were aligned around marketing.
Okay.
Those were the ones.
Okay. And were there more questions from academics? Because there's a perception, like I am asked a lot of questions related to academics during interview. Was that true?
it is true to an extent, but the interviewers also see that you must have some strength in certain subjects. So they even, not all the subjects, if not all the subjects, they do ask you on your specific strengths. You should be well aware of your strengths.
Okay, so I'm sure they are asking like which subject is your favorite
definitely.
subject, and they're asking those questions. So guys, that's a lesson, like you have to, whatever academics subjects you're pursuing, at least you need to be good in certain areas where you should be able to explain and convey your thought process clearly. Okay, that's great. So Jyotsna, what is your future plan now? What you plan to once you get into IIM Ahmedabad? So have you make up your mind like which area you want to specialize? And I'm sure by this time you would have met or talked to a lot of alumni of IIM Ahmedabad. So now what is your future plan?
So because IIM Ahmedabad is a real great place, and the life there itself is a future for right now for the next 2 years. After that, in IIM Ahmedabad, I plan on specializing in marketing and getting more into it, understanding it more. And after 2 years, I plan into working a great company.
Okay, so Jyotsna, that's awesome. Now I would just in the last part of the interview, I'd like to share some of the tips to our students who are going to take CAT 24, 25, so that you can inspire. I'm sure you are a role model for them, because in your first attempt, I think you have cracked IIM Ahmedabad. I mean, this is a great success, right? So what are the tips that you like to share with our students?
So major tips are, do not stress a lot. Like students do stress a lot from now, and then the other one is that give lot of mocks. Even if you are scoring low on mocks, do not stop giving them, or do not wait for a specific topic for you to cover. Still give them, because you'll analyze what are your strengths and your weaknesses. Also, the important part is analyzing mocks and each subjects. Do not skip that part, because that actually gives you an idea that how you can work upon that. The questions which you have done and got right, and even the ones which you could not attempt, both are important. And do not skip your strengths. Do not feel that yes, I am going to score on that. Also work on that a lot.
So sometimes sure you must be going through stress, right?
Yeah.
So what are those stress busters that you used, or what are the things that you did to make you relaxed and enjoy this journey?
Yes, so just after giving the mock and getting your score, it does get stressful a lot, but you have to make sure that you are connected with your friends and family. Leaving them aside is no good, because they actually help you get through that process. And even after that, take a break and then start working on whatever you could not score. And then in the next mock, see the improvement. You'll definitely see the improvement.
Thank you, Jyotsna, for being with us. So guys, that's Jyotsna. I think I'm sure she would have definitely inspired you, and there is so many things we learned. So I wish you all the best, right? And hopefully you come out with flying colors and get the best possible career and job from Ahmedabad. So all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.